Hi, I'm Curtis McCullom, and I have with me today my good friend Shamara. We got together the other day and we just wanted you to share some things with you. And what we decided to do was talk about heart to heart, turning rejection into confidence. And one of the reasons I like heart to heart is because my top value, guys, is love. See, but love is just a label for me. So you need to understand what I mean by love. For love, Shamari, means to transference of energy that connects to the heart, which is not just one of those things where you're always trying to just get a sale like thing. Back in the
Yeah.
day when I was younger, but your age, I was
You're
just
not
trying
my age now?
to no, no. No. So many day, I think my mic is up. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. My mic went off. Yeah. So back in the day, when I was back then, it was not that type of connection. But now that's what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for authenticity and connection. So kind of share with us kind of who you are and what you do and why you're here too.
Yeah, of course. As Curtis has mentioned, my name is Shamara. I am a life coach as well, but more than that, I like to consider myself an alchemist. What does that mean? What does that mean, right? Everybody is throwing that word around, but I'm going to tell you what that means to me.
Okay.
I know that you said transmute.
Right.
So, I'm a crafter of transmuting things as well. I like to transmute pain into power, pain into purpose, pain into passion, and I want to teach people how to do just that as well. So I really want to thank you right now for inviting me on your show so we could talk about how we can transmute, or how I like to phrase it, alchemize rejection into confidence.
I love it. I love it. One of the major things about rejection, number one, we've all experienced it and we all run from it. And, we talked about before is that I, I might throw a little scripture in there, so don't get mad. I use the Bible as more of a learning tool than anything else. So, guys, but one of the
Absolutely.
scriptures I really like is in James chapter 1. And he talks about count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, or when you're surrounded by challenges, when you are surrounded by rejection, you're surrounded by things that you feel like, wow, I can't get out. He says, count that joy. Wow. He didn't say be joyous, right? He says, count it joy. He says, because the trying of your faith, the trying of who you're becoming, work at patience. That means that you're going to get something from what you are going through. But then the key part to that, he says, but let patience have her perfect work. Then he says, in the next part, he says, because you'll be wanting nothing. What does that mean, guys? It
Yeah.
means that if you allow yourself to go through the rejection and understand what it truly means, then you'll have the power over it. And then the next time it comes, it becomes easier and easier and easier, and you understand what it's all about. So, what's your take on that, Shamara?
I agree, and that's a perfect scripture to integrate within this call. If I'm going to follow suit, I'd have to say my Bible scripture would be Matthew 5:7.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because I feel Matthew 5:7 is a town on or a city on top of a hill cannot be hidden. And the reason why I correlate that with both rejection and confidence as well is that we have this idea that we're not being perceived at all times, right? That we are in control of how people perceive us just because they're not openly rejecting us. They're not vocalizing their rejection
Okay.
towards us. If we can't feel it, if we can't see it in front of the person in front of us, we feel
Right.
as if we're not being perceived. But is that true?
Mm.
We're being perceived at all time. A city on top of a hill cannot be hidden.
Right.
We all have a light inside of us that
Ah.
shines. And it shines in different ways depending on the gifts that we were brought into this world with. So, who do you think you're hiding from?
Well, the whole idea, though, I mean, and that's the thing about it. Number one, we're not hiding. And
Yeah,
I think the other part to that is that we need to always become authentic to who we are, right?
I agree.
And that's one of the biggest things we talked about too when we were just sharing with each other is that one of the challenges that people kind of run from is their own personal authenticity. That means that they always have this want to play this show, and put on this mask, but nobody knows who everybody is anymore. We don't know. We don't know. It's like I'm always have this mask. So one of the things that I wanted, with this confidence, the confidence basically allows me to show up as Curtis. and be okay with that. And I'm okay with that. Meaning like this is me. I mean, I think there's a song in The Greatest Showman, this is me. This is me. You know, it's like good, bad, or indifferent. I'm okay with it. If you reject my message, that's okay because it's not for you anyway.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
How did you know? And in what moment do you remember? Because I know that it evolves with time. Because you mentioned it a few times. This is me. This is me. How did you know and find who you are? I know that's a
Wow.
deep, intricate
What
question,
it
but there's
is.
a moment where you have that inner knowing where you're just like, oh,
Believe it or not, and that's a great question because I'm thinking as you were asking that question, I was thinking, when did I truly realize? Well, you know, I just turned 60 a year ago, and I'll be 61
happy birthday.
in the next month in June. So don't forget that. Don't forget that.
I won't. I remember you went on vacation last year, so I.
So, but this is the thing. This is the thing. It's because when did I know? I just got to know that because
What
of
did
my
it feel
background.
like?
I mean, it was a freeing, right? It's like, well, just a little bit of background for people who don't know me and who I am. You know, a little bit. You know, I was born and raised in Mississippi. My father was a fire and brimstone preacher, and so I was under his tutelage all of my life, basically up until age 45, 50 years old. So being brought up in that environment, it obviously it creates this being who you think you are and who you should be and all these things. But one of the things I was always asking of God for me is, hey, what is this thing all about? What is this life thing all about? Right. And I really didn't get the answer to that so maybe in the last 5 years for me. And what it was all about, though, this is what it's all about for me. And this ties into rejection too, is that what I code from this life, what I got from this, and it was a book that I read. And if you're ready for it, you got to be really ready for this book. It's called Many Lives, Many Masters. And it's about some things that might be outside of the range of your belief system, but it's a great read. But what I got from that is that life is all about learning, growing, expanding, and transforming, which I call now in my framework in which I coach, is the legit mindset. Even though it's legit, well, we call it legit. So
I love it.
So basically,
It's legitimate.
It's legitimate. It is legitimate. And think about it. So think about rejection, right? How can we now turn rejection to confidence? Because rejection is not truly rejection, especially if you're in sales.
Yeah. And we both have a sales background.
Yeah.
Sales is not for the faint of heart.
No.
I'm having a heart to heart with you. It is not for the faint of heart. If you have rejection and dysphoria, this is not medical advice. Because it could be traumatizing. But if you want to really test yourself and try to get out of it, go into a sales role. Oh my gosh. How many calls did you make before you got your first yes?
Wow. I mean, and I used to play a game with myself with that.
Yeah.
You know, I played a game with myself, and I used to have a call sheet with 25. I knew that I could mentally get involved with 25 dials. So knowing that the rejection, so I turned rejection into every time I got rejected, it was like, wow, I'm that much closer to getting that yes. So once again, I turned that rejection into a learning experience. Even before I created the framework of legit mindset, was I knew that rejection wasn't rejecting me. They were just rejecting what I was actually sharing with them. And that's their prerogative to reject that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
you know what helped me in sales is I would put myself inside of the person on the other line's shoes. I'm like, why am I calling them? You know, I had to know everything that they were going to ask. And that's just from a sales perspective. But then after a while, it did become a numbers game. But I also like to get to know people. So I had fun with it.
There you go.
I was like, I pick up the phone, and then I just started to learn it's not that they were tricks, but it really did enhance my role in sales, because I'm like, wait, why can't this just be a regular conversation? I'm on the phone with them anyways. They picked up the phone. So I would start to do a little bit of research on the people, like, oh, you know the bakery right across the street? Have you met Joel over there? Right. Oh, that's a character. And then, oh, I see you won an award. And then they're like, well, how does this stranger, first of all, how does this stranger know so much about me already?
Right.
And then it becomes a curiosity, and I'm like, well, let's talk some more about you. This is They completely forget what we're even on the phone about because I'm having a genuine conversation with them. They're like,
Well,
wait,
there you
I'm
go.
present right now.
There you go. There you go. That means that you became authentic to that person, and that
Yeah.
person was willing to kind of drop their guard. You built more rapport with that person, which now allows you to actually get to know them and then even get to structure your offering so that it actually
Mhm.
fits them and not just kind of spilling it. So basically, is that how you handle rejection? That's how you.
Oh, no, let me tell you, because I got a whole bunch of, you know, that when you're in sales, you get a lot of no's. You get a lot of no's before you
Yes.
get a yes. And so I would have people tell me no all the time. If they stayed on the phone long with me enough, I'd ask them. Like, if they gave me like a pause, I'm like, this is not a solid no. So I would ask them questions like, yo, I love feedback. Can you let me know the reason why? Maybe they'll say there's not enough time. Okay, not
Right.
enough time today. I'm calling back next week. You know me now. I am the girl who called back because it kind of started to fuel me like, okay, you told me no. Most people were like, man, I don't want to call that person back. This feels nasty because that was my original feeling like,
Right.
that's embarrassing. And then I was just like, no, now they're starting to learn a little bit more about me in this conversation. We're warming up to each other. Maybe they're a little bit annoyed, but they're still answering my calls.
Right. Right.
There's a level of I'm curious there that I dive into. And I think that I learned that skill. I know that I learned this skill, and it's something that I talk about a lot when I was a kid because I did pageants. But
Hmm.
in the pageants that we did, we used to have to raise the money or the fee for us to be able to participate in it
Right.
ourselves. So my grandma was like, "Yes, you could be in this pageant." She wanted us in this pageant. It's her idea. But we like to get dressed up too as an excuse for us to get like a princess, right?
Right.
And so she would buy these big boxes of Costco candy bars. And then she would have us go. She had like a little minivan. And she had like all there we had a big family. So it was like all six of us in this little minivan with Costco candy bars. And we sat down with my grandma and she created portfolios for
Wow.
us to pitch to people door to door at a very young age. And she said, if you want to participate in pageants, you have to make your way to be able to. And so we would go over like when after school or like even before school, we would practice like, okay, what are we going to say to this person who opens the door? And, how are we going to say this? And then when you're in front of the door as a kid, it's frightening because you're like,
Right. Right. Yeah, but that's
who
a
is this?
great start, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
I really appreciate that now because I got used to people shutting the door. And even
right.
as a kid, I was like, I'm a cute kid. How are you going to shut the door on me? And then I'd be like, I'm just going to pray for them. I go to the next door.
There you go.
And then that guy over there shut the door on us. You're the last house. And then I think it started to soften me up. And then my grandma really exposed me to situations that carried heavy rejection a lot. There was a lot of auditions that we had to do
Okay.
that was just push forward.
Right. And there you
So,
go. I mean, but
and
that built that muscle, though. I mean, that started to build that muscle early in your life.
I think people should experience it. There's fear that's associated with it, especially if you have kids, right?
Right.
You don't necessarily have to send them door to door or have them do Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts or anything along those lines, but there's different things that you can expose your kids to or yourself to that really heightens their ability to be able to handle rejection in the long term.
Okay.
Because half the battle is just putting yourself out there, right?
Okay. So basically, what you're sharing with the audience or everybody is that number one is conditioning,
Yes.
meaning the stronger you become in the area that you are involved in, the less you'll be strengthened in that area, so you won't have as much rejection then, correct?
Yeah, because if you think about it, what belief did that teach me?
Yeah, right.
That belief, for me personally, it's if a door is closed, I'm going to open another one. No door is closed on me. I had a real life lesson that when one door closes, two more open because
There you
now
go.
I know what closed that door so I can open those other two.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that's
That's
just
the lesson.
sales.
But that's sales, but that's life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's life. I mean, we go through things in life too that we're rejected we're rejected by individuals, we're rejected by people. So how do we now pick ourselves back up and not take it personal and not allow that to kind of drain our confidence, And part of it is, part of it when I'm teaching neurolinguistic programming, part of it is your physiology, the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you kind of hold yourself is in a power position, which automatically puts you in an area of feeling of confidence. Yeah. Versus if I'm here, when I'm down like this or whatever, then my body is not in that same position of confidence. So part of it is the way we actually carry our body that produces this confidence. Another one you shared with us is the conditioning, meaning that, just like he says in James, you try of your faith work at patience, meaning when you do something over and over and over again, you become stronger. It's like working out. You become stronger. That means you can resist the temptation of not having the confidence in yourself and your abilities. So how would you say, what would you like to leave with the audience to say, what is it about confidence that they can actually, how can they get this confidence? If they were working with you one-on-one, what would you do to help them get this confidence?
Allow me to connect to your heart. When you are facing rejection or anything that's really pushing you to step into your inner confidence, there's a few things that I want you to pay attention to and to consider. One, with rejection, I want you to look at it as a mirror, not the person. Whatever you feel rejected by is revealing something about yourself, which is going to draw you closer to a deeper understanding of who you are. And that was what I asked you in the beginning. Like, how did you know who you were? Because the more you become awakened to who you are, you can use your inner truth. You could be the holder of your inner truth and use that as your foundation for confidence. And I can teach you how to do that through my Alchemy mindset course that I walk people through. You use it as an internal compass to guide you and uplift you so your light shines not only at the top of the hill, but at the bottom too. Because it's easy when you're at the top that you could just shine bright and you can be confident. Right. Confidence is not validated at the top. It's not. It takes adversity and it takes challenge to actually step into confidence. Right. Things that you are afraid of. And so I can be a loving support in guiding you, and I'm giving you a lot of good tools and tricks and stories that will kind of shape and reframe your mindset towards it. So you're focused on here and what's important here, right? And your truth of who you are as you learn who you are on your journey, your confidence will strengthen. That's all it is. It's who you are and holding that truth at the core.
Beautiful, beautifully said. I love it. I love it. One of the things that we both do and is help individuals to become the best version of themselves. Yeah. And the whole ideal of it sometimes is a little bit deeper, and sometimes we have to figure out what is it that's triggering this feeling of not feeling confident. And usually sometimes things happen in our lives, guys, that happened at such an early age we forgot that it happened, but that program is still running. And one of the things that I do within my practice is that we go back and revisit that, but not in a scary way, but in a way that you now can see it through the eyes of the adult that you currently are, so that now you can get the learnings from it, and the learnings of which would allow you now to build that strength of confidence, knowing that you have all the resources within you to become the best version of yourself. So, like me and both Shamara, we're going to leave all our information. We'll type in how you can get in touch with both of us. So you can either set up a call with Shamara, or you can have a call with me, either one. Basically, the bottom line is that we're here just to help and support you. To be the best version of yourself, so that you can have the confidence, you can overcome the rejection, to have that unstoppable confidence that you definitely deserve to have. Any other final words from you, Shamara?
Let's realign the pathway and set our foot forward towards that golden path that you deserve. That's all. We're here to support you, and I'm so glad that you listened in.
All right. Once again, my name is Curtis McCullom, and this is Shamara. Heart to heart, connecting from the heart, transference of energy that connects to the heart. Make it a great day.